And our first guest joining in studio now is Mr. Byron Elton. He is the President and Chief Operating Officer of Carbon Sciences Incorporated, stock symbol CABN. Byron, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Don. Good to be here.
Now, Byron, I guess I'll start off by saying congratulations, as you are the newly appointed President of Carbon Sciences.
Started January 5th. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Welcome to the program. Now, the company describes itself as developing a breakthrough technology to transform carbon dioxide emissions into a usable fuel, which is fascinating. Tell us about that.
Carbon Sciences has one single focus and mission, and that is to turn, as you mentioned, carbon dioxide into gasoline and other fuels. You know, they estimate that by the year 2030, about 20 years from now, world population will be 8.5 billion people. That's 2 billion more than we currently have. More importantly, the demand for energy will raise by 50%. So there's the first crisis and the first challenge that we face. Attendant to that, current atmospheric CO2 levels are the highest they've been in 400,000 years, and those are clearly going up with the demand for energy. So we're faced with a dual challenge of climate and energy that demands solutions, and that's where Carbon Sciences comes in. Our technology, which addresses both of those challenges in a very unique and powerful way, both the energy and the climate.
Well, now we're talking about 20 billion tons of CO2 are emitted into the atmosphere every year. You can turn that into fuel?
We can take all the carbon dioxide that we're given and turn it into gasoline and other fuels. The fact of the matter is that 28 billion metric ton figure that you use, that's 2006. Yeah. The estimates are in 20 years it'll be 42 billion tons, and so there'll be plenty of feedstock, plenty of CO2 for us to work our technology on. We believe the most important question that society faces today is there a way to make renewable and sustainable liquid portable fuels that can be, and this is really important, that can be put into the existing infrastructure? And at Carbon Sciences we say the answer is yes we can, and yes we will. For every 65 cubic feet of carbon dioxide, we can turn that into a gallon of gasoline. That's a lot of gasoline and a lot of carbon dioxide.
Well, that's amazing, because you're taking carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and you're creating gasoline. Now, your technology is based on something called a biocatalytic process, converting CO2 into basic hydrocarbons. Can you give us a little bit of an elaboration on that?
Absolutely. I think it's helpful to remember how we get our fuel today, how nature does it. So it starts with carbon dioxide. All fuel starts with carbon dioxide. It's absorbed by plants. Over millions of years that they're buried, and it turns into petroleum. We dig that out of the ground and send it to refineries, turn it into fuels, and pump it into the distribution systems into our existing vehicles. So at Carbon Sciences, we essentially emulate that process. We start with carbon dioxide, we apply our biocatalytic process to it, and in a matter of hours, not millions of years, we come out with fuel. And again, and this is very important, put it right back into the existing infrastructure, into the existing supply system, and into the existing vehicles that we use. Let me talk to you a little bit about biocatalysts. In nature, biocatalysts in living organisms are really good at what they do, but they don't last very long. They go in, they perform their mission, and then they die. They're like kamikaze pilots, if you will. Jerry Seinfeld had a great line about that. He said, why do kamikaze pilots wear helmets? Which I always loved. And what we do through our proprietary nanotechnologies, we build helmets for these biocatalysts. It encapsulates them, which allows them to perform their missions, their singular missions, hundreds of thousands to millions of times. They turn into very, very powerful nano fuel machines. And that's the real key to lowering the cost of CO2 to fuel conversion, is the amount of cycles that we can get out of those biocatalysts.
Well, what would you say about of course we have a new administration, the Obama administration, they're very bullish on renewable energy. How does that affect not only your industry, but your company specifically?
Well, it's very positive. During the campaign, and certainly since President Obama took office, he's been very clear about his personal and his administration's commitment to addressing these challenges. His inaugural address, which I thought was really impressive, there was two things that he said that I thought were particularly striking. The first one was when he said, each day brings further evidence that the ways we use energy strengthen our adversaries and threaten the planet. And we agree. He's absolutely right. He then went on to say, we will restore science to its proper place. And I think that was an acknowledgement that government doesn't solve these problems, science does.
Right.
The best that government can do is create an environment where individuals, scientists, can apply scientific knowledge and discoveries in addressing these problems. Individuals like Dr. Naveed Aslam, our Chief Technology Officer, who is the inventor of the technology that we use. And so, yes, we think that we know that the current administration is going to be very, very helpful.
Yeah. I was thinking a lot of people will probably agree that the best thing the government can do is get the hell out of the way.
Get out of the way. Let individuals do their thing.
What's the next step for Carbon Sciences?
Well, the first step is our prototype, which we will be delivering at our facility in Santa Barbara by the end of March, so right away. And that will be a demonstration of exactly our technology. We'll take CO2, apply the biocatalytic process to it, and come out with fuel. That is a big, big event for us and a real breakthrough. Subsequent to that will be a mini pilot, probably next year, we hope early next year, where we'll demonstrate the technology on a much larger basis, and then eventually, maybe by the end of next year, possibly in the 2011, will be a full-scale on-site operation with a strategic partner. And of course, at that point, we're licensing our technology to companies all over the world.
Well, Byron, when we were introduced over the phone a few days ago before doing this interview, I did some research on you. You're a sharp guy, good background. What was it about this company that encouraged you to take the reins as President and Chief Operating Officer?
Great question. I remember hearing John Lennon one time say, when he was a kid in Liverpool, he was watching TV and he saw Elvis for the first time, and with thousands of screaming girls and the Cadillacs and all the things that go along with Elvis, and he said to himself, that's a good job. And that's essentially the way I felt about it. When Carbon Sciences came to me, a Santa Barbara-based company, technology that's addressing the key issues of the day. And personally, even though I came out of media and marketing and advertising, personally very committed to living a green life. And so I felt, I said, that's a good job. That's a good job. My dad one time told me, he passed away about a year ago, he said, if you find a job that you love, you'll never work another day in your life.
That's true.
And that's what I feel about it. This doesn't feel like work. It's a blessing.
The company's Carbon Sciences, the stock symbol CABN, and the president likes his job. What more can you ask for? If you want more information, give us a call, 888-259-4449. Byron, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Don.